Hi, my name is Richard Morris, and I'm the author of the upcoming book, Hit Refresh Now: 7 Easy Steps to Overcoming Your Limiting Beliefs. Marissa very kindly asked me to do a little bit of a promo for my book, and it will be my pleasure to share with you some details of the book and just to let you know more or less when it's going to be on the market. So, how do we end up with limiting beliefs to start off with? Well, when you're born, you're just this bundle of love. And as a helpless little being, you understand that you have to fit in with your surroundings just for you to be able to survive, and so you can get the nourishment from your caregivers. And sometimes you have to modify your behavior and take on the beliefs of those around you just to fit in and to ensure your survival. Now, this can lead to early programming in life, and unfortunately, you start to take on the beliefs and the influences of the people who are looking after you. Sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's siblings, sometimes it's a teacher. And basically, these things become very deeply rooted between the ages of 2 and 7, because most children of those ages are in an altered state of mind. That's why kids learn so quickly. So once you understand how you got to where you are, you can understand that your limiting beliefs are not your fault. There's no blame with you. It's just really a programming that's been done to you by your surroundings and by the people that you are relying on for support when you're just a young, developing human being. So if we understand where those beliefs come from, we can start to challenge them. But before we start to examine those things, we need to understand what effect they have on your life. So there's a saying that your reality is what you believe it to be, which basically says is that what that really means is that your reality is determined by what you believe to be true, because what you believe to be true is true for you. And as a result of that, your beliefs and the emotions that you've attached to these early experiences determine your frequency of vibration as an energetic being. And as an energetic being, you create through thought and emotion. So the emotion applies the energetic vibration to the thought, and that's how you manifest things in your life. So if you've been brought up in a situation of fear or something that is not entirely loving, it can be that you start to believe the limits that have been placed on you by your environment and those that influence you. You may have been told you'll never amount to anything, and you start to believe that. And most of us have limiting beliefs to some extent. And this is what creates our reality. But once you understand that you can change your reality by changing your beliefs and changing your truth without necessarily changing your core values, then you're on the first step to dismantling those limiting beliefs and setting yourself free. Other thing that perhaps we need to understand is that our energy flows and our creative process flows towards our focus of attention. And I think too many of us are focused on either the past or the future. We're constantly thinking about what happened to us in the past, and we're constantly worrying about what's going to happen to us in the future. Now, if you take the view of the universe that everything that ever was, is, or ever shall be already exists, then there are infinite pasts and infinite futures. And who's to say that they're not just constructs of the present to enable you to create your current, your present time, and that is determined by the beliefs that you have developed from the energy that is around you in your past and your future. But you can always distract yourself from that and live in the present. Living in the now is a very powerful thing, because if you're living in the now, you're not worrying about the future, because the future is not real. There are infinite possibilities in the future, but there are fewer probable futures that are determined by your energy. So if you change your energy from an energy of fear to an energy of love, then it means that you're free to create whatever you want for your future. But you don't create your future in the future, you create it now. And I would suggest to you that although it's a good idea to have goals and aims and things that you're trying to achieve in your life, perhaps the best way to live is, once you've decided what you want, is to hand it over to the universe, because then you allow the infinite love of the universe to deliver a surprise to you. Perhaps the universe thinks you deserve more than you deserve, and it surprises you with its magnificence. And when your future becomes your now, you end up getting totally surprised, and the wonders of the universe unfold to you, and it's much greater and much more enjoyable and much more loving than you could have ever created on your own. So become a co-creator with the universe. And knowing that energy flows towards your focus of attention, you can start watching your thoughts. You can watch what emotions you allow to control you, because in reality you should be in control of your emotions and not your emotions in control of you, because your emotions have an influence on your energetic frequency, and that in turn has an influence on the people and situations that you draw into your life. If you can live under the power of gratitude and forgiveness, especially forgiveness of yourself, because the limiting beliefs that you've carried around are not your fault, because you were creating unconsciously. But once you learn to live in the present and you become a conscious creator of your life, then you can forgive yourself and you can be grateful to the universe, because gratitude is a very powerful thing. You can direct the flow of energy in your life. As we move through the book, then we move on to limits in life. And there are no real limits. Anything is possible. But I would also caution you to say that, if you are under 5 feet tall, it's unlikely that you're going to be knocking the lights out in the basketball league in America. So we have to operate between the limits that we've placed on ourselves with the physical form that we have designed for ourselves. But other than that, there are no limits if you understand who you really are and you understand the rules of the game. How you create is with thought and emotion. If you think about the beginning of the universe, there was a thought that was fueled with the emotion of love, and that's what created the universe. So everything in the universe is love, and love is a state of being. And that state of being transforms itself with a variation in vibration. The lower the vibration, the more solid and material that portion of creation becomes. So as a being of light, the higher that you can vibrate and the higher a frequency that you can vibrate at, the more you are in love, the less you are in fear. And we need to understand that negative things are created purely for us to be able to understand them. If you think of love and fear, they are opposites, and we have a better understanding of each one because they are opposites. When we understand the contrast between them, it's easier for us to understand these things. So now we've got to a stage now where we've challenged our limiting beliefs, we've asked questions. We've made a list of what we believe about the universe, what we believe about our lives, what we believe about ourselves and others. And from that list, we can determine what we believe about the different things and which of those beliefs is limiting us and holding us back. Do we believe that we will never amount to anything because we were told so when we were a child? Were we influenced to say, oh, well, our family can never be rich. Our family can never be prosperous. We're just workers, we're not managers. All of these things have been stored in your mind and they've led you to believe and to create your reality around what you were told. And it's important that you set yourself free from this and actually start to see the universe and the world, the material world, and all of creation as it is, not as you were told that it was. And once you understand and go back to your essence, and you're able to remove yourself from your physical body either by prayer or meditation, you remove yourself from the constant bombardment of messages about what you should be and how you should be and how you should behave and which group you should be a part of. Because none of those things matter. When you're in a state of love, you understand your connectedness to everything in the universe, the oneness. The beauty of living a physical life or having a physical experience is that you can understand the oneness better through the illusion of separation, because you have the contrast of the two. And a being of love always understands that oneness and that connection and overcomes the illusion of separation to remember who you are. And once you start to remember who you are, you start now to understand that love means everything is perfect. You are where you are for the very reason that you're there. You're just a being, and all you are is beingness. You don't need all these material things to justify your life and to make you who you are. You are not the car, you are the driver of the car. And the car is your body. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And it's important to understand that you are not your things. You are not your body. You are far greater than that. And once you start to understand that love is a state that you can be in, and once you're in that state, you can create perfectly, you let go of judgment. And you start to build your emotional bank account. The emotions that you feel as you go through your experiences are merely just flavors of the experience. They're not real. It's just a way that you interpretate, and you can understand as a being of light and a being of love that those emotions add to the experience, but they do not define it. It is defined by your interpretation and your learning, and if you are in love, you understand this. You understand that everything comes from within. You are taking responsibility for the things that you create in your life. And if your life is not turning out the way that you want it to, you're strong enough and you're powerful enough to change those things. You just have to choose. You have to choose oneness instead of separation, love instead of fear, and learn to be in harmony with your surroundings. And when all is said and done, your effectiveness in the life that you create is determined by your beliefs. How you go about your creative process defines how fulfilling the achievement will be. Once you achieve that goal and you achieve that success, whatever it may be, if you have traveled the road and you've journeyed in love, it will be far more fulfilling than your successes being grounded in fear, because they won't satisfy you at all, and they won't help you to remember who you are. It's important to understand that many roads lead to the same destination, but the destination in life, the goal or the thing that you're trying to achieve, is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the journey, because you're on the journey now. When you reach your destination, that's in the future. But the whole point of life is to enjoy the journey, to savor the experience, and to feel those flavorful emotions that help you to interpret the experiences and live a fullness in your life. You need to understand this, because that will help you to focus your attention on the present. Because the past and the future don't exist. The past is gone and the future isn't even here yet, and the future is not real. There are many possible futures, infinite possibilities for your future. It's just that the most probable ones will be determined by the energy that you are vibrating at. Your energy frequency is what you're going to create. Those are the situations and the people that you're going to draw towards you. So you need to be in a loving state rather than in a state of fearfulness to attract appropriate people and situations into your life. And all the way, what you're doing is you're challenging those limiting beliefs. You're checking yourself constantly. Why is this happening to me? What belief do I have that is causing this? Why am I limiting myself? How do I then challenge this belief? How do I prove to myself that it's not true? And it's basically just a reprogramming process. One of the more important features of my book is that I tell you that you are enough. Although you can't fool your subconscious mind, you can't tell it things that are blatantly not true, but you can challenge your subconscious mind and ask it to work with you towards beliefs and situations that are more suited to what you want to create in your life, that are more loving. Your subconscious mind has 3 aims: to love you, to protect you, and to guide you towards your purpose. So if it has limiting beliefs, then it will protect you. It will protect you from the dangers that your limiting beliefs present to it. This is why you need to change them, because if they're not appropriate to the life that you want to live, they don't serve you. And you'll end up in a cycle of repetitive behavior that perhaps you thought you couldn't break out of, but it is easier than you thought. Success and happiness are an important feature in our life, and their opposites being failure and unhappiness. But we need to understand that success and happiness are not necessarily mutually inclusive. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you're happy. If you're creating in love, then it is more likely that you will be happy with your success. And it'll be more likely that you have a fulfilling journey and you learn along the way, because it's all about gaining wisdom, gaining experience, and learning. If we were always successful the first time that we tried something, then we wouldn't learn. It's only through failure that we learn. And when you understand this, you can look at all the most successful people in the world, people who've created great things, and you look at the story behind it and you see how many times they failed before they succeeded. And that's what it is for each of us. We need to fail to learn. So we can't be unhappy about it, because each time we fail, we are one step closer to success. And when we're creating in love, that success leads to happiness. We don't achieve things at the expense of others, because that is the wrong mindset. That is a mindset of fear, and that's what we're trying to get away from. So as we take it forward now, we end up in a situation where we've challenged our limiting beliefs, but we need to constantly keep considering our beliefs. Why are we believing this? Why am I feeling that? What belief is it that's limiting me now? Where does it come from? And how do I process it? And this is where the hypnotherapy is a very good tool, because hypnotherapy will help you to look at the situations in your life. Everything is stored in your subconscious mind, and we can find out where these things come from, and we can adjust them so that your beliefs and your truths and your values serve you better in your life. And there's a wonderful saying, genius is perseverance in disguise. So the more we keep at it, the more we create the perfect life that you're looking for, the perfect life that you deserve. And hopefully, if you're living in love, you learn to pay this forward. You give the gift that you've learned to others without any expectation of anything in return, because that's what love is all about. And you allow yourself to be. You break out of the shackles of your limiting beliefs, and you move on to the life that you want to create, a life of love, a life of fulfillment, and a life of oneness, where you remember the togetherness rather than the separation. Because separation is an illusion designed to help you understand the oneness of all things. And once again, it's in understanding the contrast that we learn how to understand each of separation and togetherness better. Well, thank you for listening to me, and I hope that you're intrigued about the concepts that I've written about in my book. And it would be an honor for me just to know that I've helped you in some small way. So as soon as the book becomes available, I'll let you know. It will be available for sale on Amazon. My publishers in Canada are just busy with the final drafts at the moment, and it should be with us quite soon. So thanks for listening, and all the best to all of you. And thanks for Marissa for inviting me to talk to you about my book. Okay, thank you. Bye.